Hello there, it's a fine Sunday afternoon and that just means one thing. We're back with a set of culturally thrilling stories. So welcome to Colours of India. Let's take a quick look at the headlines. We start with the contrasting moves of Flamenco and Kathak, classical Carnatic tunes and the delicate taste of fine Assamese cuisine. Our world as we see it today is a result of cross-cultural exchanges that happened from the beginning of time. And our first story this week is about just this.
Spandan was an occasion of energetic and exuberant performances which left everyone gasping for more. Celebrating the world of dance and the human spirit for this rhythmic art, the arena was a cross-cultural event where artists from different countries came together and performed.
This space I've created for people, each one, and that's the place I usually operate from. The core purpose of the organization is enable every individual realize his or her potential, make her dreams come true. So that is what the whole space is all about.
From the sunny shores of Trinidad and Tobago comes Quincy Kendall Charles, who is living up to his dream as a Kathak artist. Mesmerized by Indian music and Kathak, Quincy started training at the age of 15. Under the tutelage of Prerna Shrimali, he is trained in Jaipur and Lucknow Gharana of Kathak. He presented a piece comprising of the both, the Lasya and Tandava flavor of Kathak on Rag Dhamar, where he recited the notes before performing the same. A graduate in mathematics, Quincy believes Kathak is a game of numbers where understanding the cyclical beats solves the problem.
In order to bring out Kathak in the best way that I believe it can be, one has to study music. But we often discover these things after we've learned to dance to a certain level. Then you realize, oh, if I had understood music and the way music worked and the way the percussion instruments worked, then perhaps I'd be able to do various things that one should or is expected to do as one grows and develops later on in dance. So I believe it's a very complete art form in that sense, that you combine a sense of musicality as well as dance.
The foot tapping continued with Paula Santa Cruz's flamenco. Born in Peru to a Spanish family, she was bound to be fascinated by this vigorous art. She learnt flamenco from Pepe Amaya, a direct descendant from the gypsy dancing family who carried the art forward from its very origins in ancient India. From her, she mastered the pure flamenco style so closely preserved by Amaya's gypsy family. Her performance, Flamenco Salon, was a dramatic composition radiating anger and sadness. she concluded with bulerias, a fast flamenco rhythm with 12 beats.
Very fascinating, and what was really nice was to see the different dance forms, and my goodness, the energy was fascinating. The gentleman from Trinidad and Tobago, Quincy Charles, who did Kathak, absolutely fascinating.
It was in the 11th century that Indian gypsies migrated to Spain, moving through Africa. They took with them local instruments and the spirit of Indian music and dance, especially Kathak. Other cultures influenced them too until finally in Andalusia, Spain, the now settled community developed flamenco. Till date, both these dance forms lay importance to fierce foot movements based on intricate tempo.
Art that is separated by space was brought together under a single platform. Now sometimes, what living beings cannot express freely, a lifeless sculpture can.
As we enter the exhibition, the eye scans the miniature bronze sculptures placed around. On a closer look, it is revealed that every bronze was brimming with an innovative idea. Titled Untitled, Banasri, a self-taught sculptor from Howrah, West Bengal, asserts her sense of creativity and her passion for communicating her thoughts onto the observer.
আমার স্কাল্পচারের মধ্যে আমার ডিসপ্লের মধ্যে সব কিছু আমি দেখাতে পারি। একটা 16 শোয়ের মধ্যে যতগুলো ইমেজ আমি দেখাতে পারবো ততগুলো মেসেজ আমি দিতে পারবো সবার সামনে। সেই জন্য আমি কোনো একটা পার্টিকুলার নাম পার্টিকুলার থিমের মধ্যে এক্সিবিশনকে বেঁধে রাখতে চাই না। সেই জন্য আমি এক্সিবিশনের নাম দিয়ে দিয়েছি আনটাইটেল।
Her figurative bronze sculptures were inspired by mythology and religion, like the Ravana bronze sculpture, which combines the images of Christ and Ravana in an attempt to unite the two religious symbols and showing a society that believes in harmony. Frozen was another depiction of Christ and his crucifixion. Lord Ganesha was presented in Babu style, a culture of West Bengal, and in another he was shown with his first partner, the banana tree. Durga found her place where she was depicted as Chandi in her Rodra Roop as well as in a Devi form.
First of all, it's the first time I'm seeing bronze sculptures like this. We've seen paintings and photography, and it's something so novel, and it's highly means I think I should look out for more such sculptures because it's really beautiful. And you know, it speaks, each and every sculpture, it speaks volumes of the person who's made it. It's her mind frame, it's her mind structure. And one thing that I gauge from all these sculptures that are there is the person who's made this, is a very positive person. You know, the positivity in a person, it's coming out in these sculptures. That's what I really liked,
Nature and harmony also had a striking presence in her work. Let Us Proceed was a favorite among people where a flock of sheep preached the lessons of life. Home and Nature Speaks were her way of showing the harmony and coexistence that nature nurtures. The depiction of moksha and love was a tender comment towards life.
I'm not a sculpture specialist. I don't understand at all. But what gives
pleasure to my eyes, I definitely go for that. Each of the sculpture has different meaning and has different mood.
Her sculptures were slim and sleek, modeled to perfection, thus giving them the required stability.
The exhibition portrayed not just the rhythms but also the inner charms of the artist. Well, at this point, it's time for us to take a quick break. I will see you on the other side. Coming up, the soulful tunes of the violin, followed by a photo exhibition. Welcome back. As they played the violin, it seemed like the instrument was singing those notes. Such is the charisma of Lalgudi Jayaraman's teachings, and his children performed in his memory recently at the capital.
Lalgudi Gopala Iyer Jayaraman, the iconic and legendary Carnatic violinist, vocalist and composer from southern India, always turned magician when playing the violin. Born in the lineage of the disciples of Tyagaraja and to a musician father, V.R. Gopala Iyer, the essence of Carnatic music came naturally to him. Before he passed away, he had imparted this knowledge to his children Lalgudi Krishnan and Lalgudi Vijaya Lakshmi.
Yehudi Menuhin said of him, he is the greatest violinist east of Suez. And he has adapted the violin to the beautiful niceties of our Carnatic music. That is a great marvel.
Remembering their father and guru, the memorial address began with a salutation piece in respect to the Almighty. This was followed by the Varnam, dedicated to Goddess Saraswati. In Rag Devgandhari, a Carnatic rag where the notes flow in a zigzag pattern. The intricate raga with ascending and descending scales were met flawlessly with the brother-sister duo.
The limitation of the instrument is overcome totally by very brilliant fingering and bowing techniques. And he always said and preached, practiced and preached that any technique which enriches our music will be observed. But there can be so many other techniques, but those which do not contribute. So the main end is music. So he has literally enlarged the tradition. He has contributed so much to the tradition by his compositions, by his bani and by his way of playing.
The mridangam, tanpura and ghatam were played along with the violin, all principal instruments required in a Carnatic music repertoire. And as masters and carriers of the Lalgudi Bani, their home style of playing the violin ensured that the music emanating from it sounded like it was being sung and not played. They also presented a piece in Rag Saraswati. This was a showstopper back in the days of Lalgudi Jayaraman.
Couple of songs, I think, just were the best. I heard his father, it was a lot of divinity and pure classical, one would get engrossed. But this again, one would, but I enjoyed it. It was more, it looked like the whole audience, he could share it with them.
It was beautiful. It relaxed me. And a couple of songs I thought the violin was actually singing. I mean, he was emotional. I could see his sort of face, and the face showed that emotion, and I think it got captured in the violin. Lovely, beautiful.
Legend has it that Tyagaraja visited the village of Lalgudi at the request of his disciple, and that he composed the Lalgudi Pancharatnam series here. One of the Pancharatnams popularized by their great-grandfather Rama Iyer was also presented.
A musical tribute is a great way of remembering the late Guru. Now our next story is also a tribute, but this one is a picturesque ode to the world of dance. Spandan. The word means vibration or pulse in Sanskrit. And the dance photos at the exhibition captured this very vibration of Indian classical dance. The works in question, that of educationist R. Srinivasan, were taken over a period of time using his favorite Nikon camera.
I'm almost there every evening at every dance, whichever dance show happening, and I shoot live. So I've been doing small exhibitions in the nooks and corners of Delhi, in the public parks. I take my 20 canvases, put it up, so I see different emotions.
Divided into 3 sections, it had stage photographs taken during a performance, staged photographs taken near heritage buildings, and a section reserved for international students of Indian dance. Most pictures are that of experts from their chosen field, and with them blown up and printed on canvas, they look like carefully etched paintings.
Every photograph, it's like a painting. It's such a beautiful composition, and it speaks volumes about the person he is, because I think he has a lot of knowledge, deep knowledge and insight of Indian classical dance and color, and he's captured some very beautiful shots.
I love the circular setup, because normally in exhibitions we go one by one. And so it feels like a dance itself actually. The photos are all around as if they're dancing around me right now. So, and then of course coming up closer, each photograph is so vibrant.
The small information capsule added near the photograph helps familiarize the viewer with the story of each dance. Away from the confines of an art gallery or a studio, this open space exhibition was conceived with the idea of creating a dialogue between the photos and the people. Once again, it brings to the forefront the educationist within Srinivasan and his deep desire to take Indian art to the masses. Motion arrest on canvas. Each click rightly captured the essence and the mood. Well, it's now time for us to go on another short break here, but do stay tuned because the best is yet to be. Coming up on the other side is a tasty Assamese thali. Welcome back. On Food Trail this week, I travel to the Far East once again, this time to taste the delicate flavors of Assamese cuisine. So why don't you join me as I go fishing with the Jakoi? Jakoi, which means a fishing basket, is one of those iconic images that comes to mind when you think of Assam. For those of us in Delhi, Jakoi is also the name of that inviting little restaurant in Assam Bhavan. With its moga blinds, artifacts, cutlery display and woven leaf objects, the essence of this state is well represented. Looks are just one part of what makes Jakoi special.
Assamese food is very light, and so when you eat the food, you don't feel heaviness, and it's a very healthy food. And our medium of cooking is mustard oil. We serve traditional food, Assamese food, what normally people Assamese food have in their homes. So we place the thali accordingly,
The first time I am taking a Assamese cuisine, so it was a wonderful experience because I take vegetarian food and I tried all veg food over here and it was quite awesome.
A fine starter option would be the bengana bor, also known as crunchy aubergine fritters. It is common practice for Assamese kitchens to have fermented and dried bamboo shoots. And Jakoi has a few dishes cooked using this. You could start with a minced chicken dish cooked in hollow bamboo, and if this experience pleases you, graduate to the bamboo shoot rice known as kharisa, served with chicken made using, pasted bamboo shoots. If you're new to the whole concept of Assamese cuisine, then the easiest thing to go by is the thali option that they have. They have two different kinds of thalis. The one that I would suggest is the parampara thali. The parampara thali is a gorgeous bell metal presentation with a total of 10 to 12 dishes, including the dessert. Start off with the warm gooseberry drink, slightly bitter, but it opens up your palate and allows you to taste the real flavors of the main course. This includes 4 vegetarian items like the khar, dal curry, boiled spinach dish and mashed potatoes. The flavors are simple, in fact they are basic. But that means the real essence of each of these ingredients are maintained. Now the vegetarian part of the parampara thali includes 4 separate dishes. The first one is an acidic preparation which has a lot of ghee in it and it's a very light, spiceless sort of dish. That's how you open the meal. You move on and there's dal, very basic lentils with just a small tadka of mustard seeds, and then you have coriander and tomatoes, and that is also a very, very mildly spiced dish. Moving further down, there's something like the mashed potatoes. If you do like the English mashed potatoes, then you'd like it, but otherwise you'd think it is way too bland compared to the potato sabzis that you're generally used to. And the last dish is a vegetable sabzi, which is boiled greens, and that is again it retains the very flavor and the nature of the greens in question, and therefore, because it is boiled, it gives it that same texture and that beautiful taste. The second part of the meal includes the non-vegetarian fare. Duck meat is a delicacy, and of course, there are 2 different types of fish preparations. The non-vegetarian part of the parampara thali has the thenga fish, which is a very runny sort of gravy and made with light spices and condiments. But then the taste of the fish comes out really well, and the flavors are of course very, very sharp when it comes to that. They also serve the pigeon or the duck meat. Today I'm served the duck meat. The meat is very gamey, very chewy. It's made, we're using ground spices, and therefore it is the stronger part of the dish. And they also have steamed fish, which is a preparation very similar to one that you would see in Bengal. Steamed fish, which has a very fishy taste to it, but it is a very, very healthy way of eating your fish.
Assamese cuisine well represents the state's mixed cultural identity. While the Bengali influence is strong, coastal regions of the far south can also relate to the taste. The gila pita, a dried fried sweet dish made using rice and jaggery, has regional representations all along the Indian coastline. But the dessert that comes as part of the thali is far more simple and stunning.
The dessert that they serve here is again traditional Assamese. It has the hurum or the puffed rice, which is served with very thick Assamese cream and jaggery sauce. All three of them have to be mixed together, and then there you go. It is a very, very light sort of dessert. Not that the meal was heavy, but the dessert is even lighter. So let me get back to my really tasty dessert here. I will see you next week on the same show. Goodbye, take good care, and until later, happy eating.